What if we told you that one of the top-selling artists of the 20th century isn't Elvis or Frank Sinatra, but Johnny Mathis? With over 350 million records sold, Mathis quietly climbed to become the third best-selling artist of the entire century. Best known for his silky holiday classics, his story goes far beyond Christmas tunes. From his unexpected rise in pop music, despite dreaming of a jazz career, to a life filled with elegance, independence, and quiet confidence, Johnny Mathis has never needed a spotlight to make headlines. But is he gay? And how did he build a $200 million empire? Who did he love? Where does he live? And what truly defines him? Let's take a closer look at the life of a legend. Johnny Mathis was a wonderful, wonderful athlete. Johnny Mathis wasn't just blessed with a golden voice. He was also a remarkable athlete. During his high school years at George Washington High School in San Francisco, Mathis shined on both the basketball court and the track and field team. Despite standing just 5 feet 7 inches, he was an exceptional high jumper, consistently clearing 6 feet 5 inches, a feat that earned him an athletic scholarship to San Francisco State College. His talent even brought him into competition with future NBA legend Bill Russell, then a 6'9" high jumper at the University of San Francisco. In a memorable moment at a tournament in Nevada, Mathis actually outjumped Russell, clearing 6 feet 5.5 inches. In 1956, Mathis was invited to compete in the Olympic trials, a dream opportunity for any young athlete. But fate had other plans. That same week, he received a call to travel to New York for his very first recording session. He chose music over the Olympics, a decision that would define the rest of his life. Still, his legacy in Bay Area sports lives on through the Johnny Mathis Invitational, a celebrated track event in San Francisco. Other roads. Johnny Mathis is widely known for his smooth, romantic sound, what many would call traditional pop. It's the same elegant pre-rock style made famous by artists like Nat King Cole and Tony Bennett. But interestingly, that wasn't the path Mathis originally wanted to follow. His heart was in jazz, inspired by icons like Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, and Lena Horne. While studying at San Francisco State College, Mathis spent his weekends singing jazz in local nightclubs. One night, a club owner was so impressed that he invited George Avakian, the head of Columbia Records' jazz department, to come and hear the young singer. At just 19 years old, Mathis landed in New York to record his debut album, Johnny Mathis, a new sound in popular music, a vocal jazz project. Unfortunately, the album didn't take off. That's when Columbia's Mitch Miller stepped in. He saw something else in Mathis, something that would resonate far more with mainstream audiences. Miller believed Mathis's crystal-clear voice and precise diction were perfect for pop ballads. So he arranged another recording session, which resulted in 2 major hits, Wonderful, Wonderful, and It's Not For Me to Say. That session changed everything. From that point forward, Mathis became one of Columbia's most cherished artists. Except for a brief period with Mercury Records in the mid-1960s, he's been with Columbia ever since, making him the label's longest-standing performer. Johnny Mathis didn't care for 2 of his most famous songs. During the 1950s and 1960s, Johnny Mathis scored numerous hits on the Billboard Hot 100, earning a lasting association with several beloved classics. 2 of his most iconic songs from that era, The 12th of Never, 1957, and Misty, 1959, have become American pop standards forever tied to his name. But surprisingly, Mathis himself wasn't especially fond of either track at the time. Reflecting on The 12th of Never, he admitted in the radio series Pop Chronicles, "I didn't like it because it was all so repetitious and nothing seemed to happen." At the time, he was fresh out of college and full of youthful ambition. "I was hot to trot," he added. "I wanted to do something rah-rah-rah, something earth-shattering." Misty, meanwhile, wasn't even on his radar initially. The song had started out as an instrumental piece by jazz pianist Errol Garner. Mathis casually mentioned he'd consider recording it if lyrics were added, and then promptly forgot about it. That is, until Garner unexpectedly showed up at one of his sessions, ready to follow through. "I was just praying that he would forget about it," Mathis later admitted. "Fortunately, he didn't, and the rest is music history. Greatest hits. Greatest hits albums might seem like obvious moneymakers, but there's no denying their impact. They offer listeners a quick way to dive into an artist's most popular work, and many have become bestsellers. The Eagles' Greatest Hits still holds the title for the best-selling album in U.S. history. Today, Greatest Hits collections feel like a no-brainer, but someone had to come up with the idea first. That someone? Johnny Mathis. In 1958, less than 2 years into his career, Mathis released Johnny's Greatest Hits, making history with what's widely considered the first album of its kind. At the time, his single, "It's Not For Me To Say," was climbing the charts, and Columbia Records wanted more material before he left for a UK tour. Mathis didn't have time to record anything new, so Columbia executive Mitch Miller had a bold idea. Compile Mathis's early singles, just 4 songs and their B-sides, and call it Johnny's Greatest Hits. It was a little flamboyant, Mathis later joked to Song Facts, because they weren't exactly greatest hits yet. But the gamble paid off. Not only did the album help launch a whole new marketing model in music, it also became a massive success, spending an astonishing 9.5 years on the Billboard Albums chart, struggling with addiction. Johnny Mathis wasn't just known for his smooth voice. He also had some powerful connections, including a close friendship with First Lady Nancy Reagan. Reagan, known for her Just Say No anti-drug campaign, played a key role in helping Mathis overcome his struggle with alcohol. In an interview with CBS Sunday Morning, Mathis recalled the moment that changed everything. "We were sitting around, I was drinking, and she suggested I might have a problem. Concerned, she encouraged him to seek help, and Mathis checked into the Havre de Grace Rehabilitation Center in Maryland. I was there with a bunch of Jesuit priests," he said. "I had 3 weeks of finding out why I drank and how I could stop." That wasn't the first time Mathis had faced substance issues. Back in the early 1960s, while performing 5 shows a night at the Copacabana in New York, he came down with laryngitis and sought help from Dr. Max Jacobson, infamously known as Dr. Feelgood, for treating celebrities and public figures with potent drug cocktails. Jacobson gave Mathis vitamin injections that revived his voice, but they came with a dangerous side effect: addiction. "Everyone on Broadway went to him, even the Kennedys," Mathis said. "It brought my voice back beautifully, but it left me with a drug addiction. It was very traumatic, but I just had to stop." Going soft. By 1978, it had been more than a decade since Johnny Mathis had cracked the top 10, and he hadn't even charted since 1974. He and his producer, Jack Gold, knew that if Mathis wanted to stay in the game, he needed to evolve with the times. Gold had been hearing great things about a rising R&B talent named Denise Williams. Mathis later told Billboard, "We knew Denise was big in the R&B area, so I thought, maybe we can get some of her fans to listen to my music." Williams was thrilled to work with Mathis, though she wasn't exactly confident in the song they recorded together, "Too Much, Too Little, Too Late." In fact, she once admitted to the Washington Post that they only did 2 or 3 takes and didn't think it would amount to much. She couldn't have been more wrong. The song soared to #1 in the U.S., marking a career first for both Mathis and Williams. The success sparked immediate momentum. The duo quickly returned to the studio to record a full album of duets, That's What Friends Are For, which included a modest hit with their version of You're All I Need to Get By. But another song from those sessions would have an even longer legacy, Without Us, which went on to become the beloved theme song for the hit 80s sitcom Family Ties. Cue the Sha La La La. Coming out. Johnny Mathis rose to fame during a time when being openly gay could end a career overnight. In the conservative entertainment world of the 1950s and 60s, public figures who didn't fit the mold were often forced to hide key parts of their identity. Though Mathis was long the subject of speculation, he remained intensely private about his personal life. His music, often centered on romantic longing, had a kind of emotional openness that fans connected with, without demanding specifics. But in 1982, during an interview with Us Weekly, Mathis quietly stated, "Homosexuality is a way of life that I've grown accustomed to." The reaction was swift and intense. In later interviews, Mathis revealed he received death threats, mostly from the South, and worried about the dangers of increased visibility. "I'd had enough exposure and was concerned about what came with it," he told the Sunday Express. After that, Mathis pulled back from publicity, especially before concerts, hoping to avoid drawing unwanted attention. For years, he chose not to discuss his sexuality publicly. When asked about it decades later, he told CBS Sunday Morning, "I come from San Francisco. It's not unusual to be gay in San Francisco. I thought it was maybe a little bit blown out of proportion." Through it all, Mathis let the music speak for him, never seeking labels, just singing from the heart. Johnny Mathis has never had a wife or husband and doesn't regret it. Johnny Mathis has serenaded the world with love songs for nearly 7 decades. But when it comes to his own romantic life, he's always remained a bit of a mystery. The smooth-voiced balladeer, famous for hits like Misty and Chances Are, has never had a wife, despite being seen with some of the most beautiful women of his time. And while he came out as gay in a bold 1982 interview with Us magazine, Mathis never had a husband either. Now in his late 80s, Mathis still keeps much of his personal life private. He once said that he knew he was gay early on and credited his father, whom he deeply admired, for accepting him fully and without hesitation. With his charm and classic good looks, he attracted admiration from both fans and fellow celebrities. One of the people Mathis was said to be in a relationship with was Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee Estelle Bennett, who, along with Ronnie Spector and Nedra Talley, made up the 60s hit girl group, the Ronettes. Bennett, who stars like Mick Jagger and George Harrison had romanced, was supposedly in a serious relationship with Mathis, something he never confirmed. Mathis refuses to discuss his private life. Bennett passed away in 2009 and took the secret with her. Musicians Regina Belle, Denise Williams, and Patty Austin are other women romantically linked to Mathis. He was also said to have been in a relationship with the man who discovered him in a San Francisco jazz club in the 50s, George Avakian. Another of his loves is said to have been Mitch Miller, a Columbia Records executive in charge of artists and repertoire. The charismatic Miller was also a gifted classical musician and recorded several hit albums for Columbia as Mitchell Miller and his orchestra. But Mathis has never confirmed any of them, preferring to let speculation remain just that. Despite the fame and attention, Mathis never married and says he has no regrets. "I've never been married, and I have no regrets about not starting my own family," he once shared. "I come from a large one, so there are so many people around all the time. I've been very happy. With 7 siblings, 4 of whom are still alive, and 17 nieces and nephews, his life has always been full of family." The lost disco years of Johnny Mathis. After his successful soft rock revival in the late 70s, alongside Denise Williams, Johnny Mathis decided to dive into another major sound of the era, disco. He joined forces with 2 of the genre's most iconic figures, Bernard Edwards and Nile Rodgers, the masterminds behind the band Chic, known for hits like Le Freak and Good Times. Edwards and Rodgers would later help artists like David Bowie, Let's Dance, and Diana Ross, Diana, reinvent themselves as disco stars. And in 1981, they aimed to do the same for Mathis with a bold new album titled I Love My Lady. But despite its star-studded production, the album never saw the light of day, at least not at the time. According to music historian Andy Zaks, who presented a talk called Lost in Lost Music, Rediscovering Johnny Mathis' I Love My Lady. At the 2009 EMP Pop Conference, Columbia Records simply shelved the album. No one at the label made any real effort to release it, opting instead to put out yet another greatest hits collection. Mathis himself admitted in a 2011 interview with BBC Radio 4 that he never got a clear explanation. "The record company is almighty when you're making music to sell. They have their likes and dislikes," he said. "I guess because they didn't think it would sell." It wasn't until 2017, more than 3 decades later, that I Love My Lady finally became available to fans. Hidden among the 68-disc box set The Voice of Romance, the Columbia Original Album Collection, the long-lost album was finally released, giving listeners a long-overdue glimpse at one of Mathis's most experimental and daring musical chapters. Golf makes Johnny Mathis misty. Johnny Mathis was already a standout athlete in his teenage years, but it wasn't until adulthood that he discovered a true love for golf. During a break from performing at the Sands Hotel in Las Vegas in 1965, Mathis picked up a club and never looked back. According to Golf Digest, he's now a member of 3 different golf clubs in the Los Angeles area and hits the course around 300 times a year. "It's the only social activity I have," he once said. "I've never really socialized with other entertainers, but I enjoy the company of golfers." All that time on the green has paid off. Mathis has become a highly skilled amateur golfer with a handicap of 7, an impressive number that puts him well ahead of the average hobbyist. Over the years, he's played alongside legends like Jack Nicklaus and Lee Trevino, and even taken lessons from PGA Tour professionals. He's also sunk not 1, but 9 holes in one over the course of his golfing life. His passion for the game even led him to host his own senior circuit tournament in 1985 and 1986, proving that Mathis's talents extend well beyond the stage. In the kitchen, it's common for celebrities to hire private chefs or even full kitchen staff, but Johnny Mathis has always done things a little differently. Both of his parents worked as cooks in the homes of wealthy families, and they passed down their love for the kitchen to him. "I kinda watched over them and wanted to cook," Mathis told South Sound. He says he genuinely enjoys spending 5 to 6 hours preparing a single meal and finds the process deeply rewarding. Even while touring, Mathis tries to cook whenever he can. When extended-stay hotels with kitchens like Residence Inn started popping up, he was thrilled. "I was over the moon," he recalled. Back home, Mathis has an entire room dedicated to his cookbook collection, which he says numbers in the thousands. "When I go out shopping and pass a bookstore, I always grab a couple of cookbooks," he shared. In fact, he even published his own in 1982, Cooking for You Alone, a book focused on the art of preparing meals for one, something Mathis, who enjoys his solitude, knows intimately well. Johnny Mathis is a marvelous and shy guy. Amazon Video's Emmy-winning series, The Marvelous. Mrs. Maisel blends real historical figures with fictional characters inspired by true icons. One standout example is Shy Baldwin, played by Leroy McClain, a smooth, charismatic singer best known for the fictional hit One Less Angel. While Baldwin himself is a creation of the show, his persona feels instantly familiar to anyone who knows the pop music scene of the late 1950s. With his silky voice, polished charm, and carefully guarded private life, Baldwin gives off a strong Johnny Mathis vibe. In fact, Mrs. Maisel star Rachel Brosnahan even said so herself, telling Refinery 29 that Baldwin is kind of an amalgamation of a lot of different figures who were that successful. But Johnny Mathis comes to mind. Esquire also pointed out a few telling similarities. Baldwin sings "They Say It's Wonderful" during a Vegas show, a song Mathis famously recorded in 1959. Baldwin also cites Nat King Cole as a key influence, much like Mathis often did. And perhaps most poignantly, in Season 3, Baldwin privately reveals to Midge that he's gay and must keep it a secret to protect his career, mirroring the very real pressures Johnny Mathis faced during his rise to fame. Johnny Mathis' net worth. Johnny Mathis, the legendary American singer, has amassed an estimated net worth of $200 million as of 2025. This impressive fortune stems from his prolific music career, strategic investments, and ventures beyond the recording studio. Mathis's musical journey began in the mid-1950s, and over the decades he has released more than 70 studio albums. His smooth vocals and romantic ballads have resonated with audiences worldwide, leading to over 350 million records sold globally. This achievement places him among the top-selling artists of the 20th century, alongside icons like Michael Jackson and the Beatles. Beyond music, Mathis has demonstrated astute business acumen. He has invested in various sectors, including real estate, where he owns multiple properties. Additionally, he has ventured into the culinary world with a chain of restaurants and has interests in the fashion industry through his line, Johnny Mathis Seduction. His portfolio also includes investments in stocks and holdings, further solidifying his financial standing. Even in his late 80s, Mathis continues to captivate audiences with his performances. His dedication to his craft and ability to adapt to changing musical landscapes have ensured his relevance in the industry. While he has faced challenges, including health issues, leading to his retirement from touring in 2025, his passion for music remains undiminished. House tour. Johnny Mathis has long called the Hollywood Hills home, residing in a distinctive mid-century estate perched above Sunset Plaza Drive. Originally built in 1946 for aviation magnate Howard Hughes, the house exudes understated elegance with its clean lines, flat roof, and minimalist facade. The exterior combines natural wood siding with white stone accents, creating a modern yet inviting appearance. Spanning over 5,400 square feet, the residence features 3 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms, offering ample space for both relaxation and entertaining. Inside, the home boasts a blend of contemporary design and classic comfort, including a fireplace and expansive windows that flood the rooms with natural light. The property also includes a swimming pool, providing a serene retreat amidst the bustling city. Mathis has cherished this home for decades, not only for its architectural beauty but also for its personal significance. He has described it as a sanctuary where he can unwind, indulge in his passion for cooking, and enjoy the company of close friends. Despite facing challenges over the years, including a significant fire in 2015 and a hillside collapse in 2023, Mathis has remained committed to preserving and restoring his beloved residence. Nestled in a quiet and picturesque neighborhood, Johnny Mathis's Hollywood Hills home stands as a testament to his enduring legacy and appreciation for timeless design. Car collection. With a career spanning over 6 decades and a net worth estimated at $200 million, Johnny Mathis has built a legacy not only in music but also in his refined lifestyle, one that includes a tasteful, though modest, car collection. Unlike many celebrities who flaunt fleets of exotic supercars, Mathis's garage reflects his understated elegance and enduring charm. At the heart of his collection is a 1962 Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud II, a vehicle known for its graceful lines and luxurious ride. This classic British beauty, often associated with old Hollywood glamour, is valued at around $90,000 to $130,000, depending on condition. Mathis's model, immaculately maintained, is likely on the higher end of that range. Another standout is his Mercedes-Benz 560 SL, a roadster from the late 1980s that combines performance with timeless sophistication. This convertible has become a collector's favorite, with well-preserved models now fetching $30,000 to $60,000. For Mathis, who enjoys quiet drives along the California coast, it's a perfect match. Rounding out his known collection is a Tesla Model S, priced at around $85,000, showcasing his appreciation for modern innovation and environmental consciousness. While his car collection totals under $300,000, it represents just a fraction of his wealth, demonstrating that for Johnny Mathis, luxury isn't about excess, but about classic quality and personal meaning. His vehicles, much like his music, are timeless. A Rolls-Royce for the legacy, a Mercedes for the soul, and a Tesla for the future. Philanthropy. Johnny Mathis has long used his wealth not just to live comfortably, but to uplift others. A quiet yet consistent philanthropist, Mathis has donated millions over the years to causes close to his heart, particularly in the fields of education, the arts, and healthcare. One of his most significant contributions has been to his alma mater, San Francisco State University, where he donated over $2 million to support music scholarships and the development of student programs. In recognition of his generosity and enduring influence, the school named a creative arts building after him, the Johnny Mathis Performing Arts Center. Mathis has also been a major supporter of UNICEF and Children's Hospital Los Angeles, to which he has collectively contributed more than $1.5 million. His donations have helped fund pediatric cancer research and improved care facilities for children in critical condition. True to his modest nature, many of these gifts have been made quietly, without seeking public recognition. In the arts, he's backed various nonprofit initiatives such as Young Musicians Foundation and the Grammy Foundation, contributing upwards of $750,000 to help nurture young talent and preserve musical heritage. Additionally, Johnny Mathis has supported LGBTQ+ organizations like the Human Rights Campaign, donating around $500,000 in support of equal rights, especially during the height of social and political advocacy in the early 2000s. Altogether, Mathis's philanthropic contributions exceed $5 million, a modest yet meaningful amount relative to his fortune. Rather than grand gestures, Mathis believes in steady, purposeful giving, a quiet generosity that reflects the same grace and warmth that made his voice beloved across generations. Johnny Mathis isn't just a music legend. He's a symbol of grace, generosity, and quiet strength. Which part of Johnny's life do you find most fascinating? His personality, his home, or his legacy? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content like this. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, stay tuned.